right, here we go. Diablo 4 patch notes. Yeah, I know, but I'm reading them anyway. All right, here we go. All classes. New items. Pain Gorger's Gauntlets. Unique gloves. Damaging enemies with a cast non-basic skill marks them for 3 seconds. When a basic skill first hits a marked enemy, the basic skill's damage is echoed to all marked enemies, dealing 100 to 200% increased damage. Oh, okay. All right. So hit a bunch of shit with spenders, cast a basic skill, and it does AoE, I guess. All right. Oh, look, it's Cokeless. Look who decided to show up. All right. Let's see. Aspect of adaptability. Utility. When cast below 50% maximum resource, basic skills generate 3 of your primary resource once per cast. When cast at or above 50% max resource, basic skills deal 40 to 80% increased damage. Okay. Juggernaut's aspect, defensive. Gain 0.75 to 1.25 armor, but your evade has 100% increased cooldown. Okay. So I guess for people that just don't ever want to evade, but they just want a bunch of fucking armor. Item updates. Ring of Starless Skies. The unique power has been changed. Okay. Previously, casting a core skill reduces resource cost of your core skills by 12%, up to a maximum of 40%. Resets upon using a non-core skill. New. Spending resources reduces your resource costs and increases your damage by times 10% for 3 seconds, up to 40%. Okay, so the ring will actually give you more damage now, too. Okay. Spending resources reduces your... So it doesn't reset anymore. So literally, like, the ring is just, like, flat out insanely better than it was before. So you get 40% resource cost reduction and you get 40% more damage too. Offensive aspect of the expectant damage bonus now has a 5-second duration to be used. Okay. Melted Heart of Selig. Oh, here we go. All stats increase to ×2 normal value. Core skill damage changed to movement speed. Okay. Hey, look, Hanky. The Melted Heart of Selig's gonna have movement speed on it. They heard that you wanted more movement speed on Nex, so now you just got to get this Uber unique. Damage while healthy increased to 3 times normal value. Unique power change previous. Okay, what's the new one? Gain 60 max resource. 75% of incoming damage drains 2 resource for every 1% of life you would have lost instead. Okay, so it doesn't reduce all damage now. It reduces 75% of it. Okay. I think this is still good. I mean, the problem is, though, no one's going to need it anymore because you only needed it for, like, abattoir pushing. But no one's going to need it. All right, Overpower. Overpower attacks now gain plus 1% damage, down from plus 2% per 1% of your base life you have in Fortify. Overpower attacks now gain plus 1% damage, down from plus 2% for 1% of your base life that you have in bonus life. Okay, so they just cut Overpower stacking in half. Okay. New Barbarian items. Ring of the Ravenous. Ren's duration is increased by 2 to 4 seconds. Damaging enemies with brawling skills applies 2 stacks of Ren's bleed. This effect can only occur once every 4 seconds per enemy. So what's a brawling skill? Brawling skills are like charge, leap. There's like one other one. I can't think of what. Oh, kick. So charge, leap, and kick can now apply rend if you have this item. Eh. Aspect of Sundered Ground. Every 25 seconds, upheaval is guaranteed to overpower and deal 10 to 20% increased damage. This timer is reduced by 4 seconds when upheaval overpowers a boss or an elite enemy. Huh. Okay. Trying to think of like what aspect would you drop for that in an upheaval build. That's kind of cool though. It's like they're trying to like give upheaval even more power. I'd like to see some whirlwind stuff. That'd be nice, but oh well. Anyway, charge. Base damage increased by 900%. Yeah, they were talking about that in the live stream yesterday. Enhanced charge terrain impact damage increased by 150%. Power charge no longer requires a terrain impact to reduce the cooldown of charge, and now charging a boss will reduce the cooldown by 6 seconds. Yeah, I remember they were saying they wanted charge to be more useful. I mean, maybe. Leap space damage increased by 30%. Brute force overpowered damage decreased from 15% to 8% per rank. Walking arsenal. Oh yeah, they said they were gonna buff like the key passives. Duration of each weapon bonus increased from 8 to 10. Additional damage from having all bonuses increased from 15 to 20. Having all bonuses now also increases attack speed by 20%. Pretty fucking good. Unconstrained berserking damage bonus increased from 60 to 100%. That's pretty fucking significant. Like, so you might be able to do like a full-on like berserking build. Just a flat 40% increase to that. Gushing wounds bonus bleed amount increased from 115% to 140%. Look, Hanky bleeds. Overpower explosion damage increased from 70 to 85. Weapon expertise. Expertise leveling has been cut by 50%. That's pretty cool. So now you don't have to like take for fucking ever to level your weapons. The martial glyph now reduces the cooldown of every non-shout skill by 4 seconds instead of every other shout skill by 1.2 seconds. Oh, I see what they're doing here. They did say they were trying to move away from people just stacking shouts. So now instead of like your shouts reducing the cooldown of the other shouts, now when you shout, it's going to reduce the cooldown of your other skills. So technically, couldn't you still just run all 3 shouts? And when you cast all 3 in succession, you're just going to reduce the cooldown of your other skills by 12 seconds? So couldn't you like still just run all 3 shouts and then like, oh, I don't know, Wrath of the Berserker, and then every time you triple shout, you reduce Wrath's cooldown by 12 seconds? Alright. You now generate 6 to 10 fury per second while any shout is active, instead of 2 to 4 fury per second for each shout skill active. While any is active. Okay, so basically they're changing this so that you don't stack it. But if you get a max roll, you're losing 2 fury per second. But you also don't have to run all 3 shouts to get the 10 fury per second. Okay. Damage bonus now has a 5-second duration to be used. Blah, blah, blah. Damage bonus now has a 5-second duration. Oh, they made it so like on the ring, the malignant ring for barbs, you can't just get the proc and then sit on it and wait to use it. I see. What was the unique for barbs again? The new unique? It's a ring. God damn it. Oh, well, it's for bleed anyway, so fuck it. It's funny to me that they would introduce another unique ring for Barb, knowing that jewelry is like very, very highly contested slot for Barbs. Well, I say knowing that they probably don't really know and understand that, or they're doing it on purpose. Because again, they're trying to move people away from the triple shout meta. So like, if people don't have like the fucking shout aspects on their rings anymore, then I guess it doesn't matter. Do we really care about druid stuff that much? Let me see what we got. Oh yeah, they said they were making rabies better, right? Oh yeah, there's a new rabies aspect. When rabies infects an enemy, reduce its cooldown by 0.3 to 0.6 seconds. This cooldown reduction is tripled when infecting elites. Okay. Enhanced rabies max damage bonus increased from 30 to 60. Lacerate cooldown reduced from 45 to 35. Okay. Lacerate will heal more. Cataclysm buffs. I'm just kind of skimming over this to see if anything kind of sticks out. Yeah, you can get thorns as a druid now. Cool. Critical strike damage bonus is now multiplicative instead of additive. We got some Paragon stuff. Passive companion damage bonus increased from 80 to 120%. Alright, so basically, if you run this, your companions will do 40% more damage with their, like, auto attacks. Alright. Oh, wow. It looks like they fucking, like, gutted this, dude. Blurred Beasts. It used to instantly deal 70 to 100% of the poison damage. Now, Shred seeks out nearby poison enemies and deals 20 to 40% increased damage to them. So now the amount of damage that you deal with this is based on the amount of damage that, like, Shred actually deals. It's not going to consume the poison. Or it's not going to do damage based on the poison anymore. I think that probably just killed Poison Shred. Maybe not kill it, but it's a pretty big fucking hit to it. Alright, let's see the Necro stuff. Let's go. New items, Mutilator Plate. You are Bloodlanced, and when Bloodlance would deal damage to you, it instead fortifies you for 1 to 2% of your maximum life and has a 5% chance to form a Blood Orb. Bloodlance deals 10 to 20% increased damage. What? Shattered Spirits aspect, casting bones for else. Yeah, okay. So they actually the preview of this aspect that they put up yesterday actually didn't say, or it actually didn't do this aspect justice. This aspect actually turns Bone Spirit into an AoE. Yeah, I'm aware. There. Yeah, I'm aware. Um, hmm. Casting Bone Spirit also launches 18 Bone Splinters in all directions, dealing 200 to 400% increased damage, generating 6 essence per enemy hit. That's actually kind of cool. Because it turns Bone Spirit into an actual AoE build. Now, what I wonder is if these Bone Splinters benefit from anything that would normally buff Bone Splinters. Alright, they buffed Iron Maiden damage. Corpse Explosion. Lucky hit chance reduced from 40 to 25. Base damage increased. Blighted Corpse Explosion damage decreased. Cool. Blight damage over time increased. Okay. Sever. Initial damage increased. Return damage increased. Bone Spirit damage is increased by 4% per essence spent casting Bone Spirit. Okay. Now restores 30% of your max essence. That's cool. You and your minions deal 10% increased damage to enemies. New every 1.5 seconds. Decompose makes enemies vulnerable. Okay. Okay. Decompose slows enemies by 50%, and if you channel Decompose for at least 1.5 seconds, you gain 30% movement speed for 5 seconds after ending the channel. So, It's like they're just trying to make it so like maybe people will want to use decompose as like an option. I mean, it could be good, I guess. You would need to run the aspect that turns decompose into an AoE though, so you can take advantage of this like vulnerable thing more. It could be good.
Or 5 first. Man, fuck this shit.
Blood Mist fortifies you. Now you get crit strike for 4 seconds after it ends. Okay. Yeah, you can move through Bone Prison. Enemies inside of Bone Prison are vulnerable. Right. Not display. Okay, Book of the Dead Golem. When golems finish casting their active ability, they will first try to target a new close enemy before reverting to their previous target. Okay, so basically they're trying to improve the AI of the golem so that, like, if you send your bone golem into taunt, right after he's done taunting, he doesn't just run back off the fucking Narnia to fight like a spider he was beaten on in the corner. Blood golem and iron golem basic attacks now hit enemies in the area. Yep. Active ability now grants the golem thorns equal to 70% of your armor for the duration of the taunt. That's kind of cool. Bone Mage upgrade now fortifies based on your max life instead of base life. Skeleton Priest healing increased from 25 to 40% over the 8 second. Okay, whatever. Previous, your minions deal 15% increased damage for each minion type you have active. New, your minions deal 10% increased damage for each 20% of attack speed bonus they have. So the thing I don't like about this is immediately what they're trying, like, what this says to me is they're trying to force you into the key passive to give your minions more attack speed. And the problem with that is that key passive sucks dick. That's why whenever someone plays minion necro, they don't take that key passive. They take Shadow Blight instead, or usually Shadow Blight, or the blood one. Like, anyway, Golem additional bonus changed from 25% health to 25% damage. Okay. Distance traveled. I mean, I wonder if like some weird like bone spirit minion build could work. I don't know. Torture's aspect, Iron Maiden, yeah. Iron Maiden is now also a darkness skill and deals shadow damage. Enemies afflicted by your Iron Maiden have a 15 to 25% chance to be stunned for 1 second when they deal direct damage. So shadow minions with Shadow Iron Maiden. That could be a thing. Because this will help you just stack up Shadow Blight procs like really fucking quick. Rotting aspect. Chance to spawn additional corpses. Okay, whatever. Chance to reduce Golem's active cooldown. Increase from 2 to 4. Chance to spawn. Dude, people still aren't going to use this. This is like, no one's going to use this still. There's no point in using this aspect. I don't know why they keep trying to like make this work by just like tuning numbers up. It's not going to do it. It's just a terrible aspect and no one wants to use it. All right, so basically nothing really substantial to like buff my minions. Here's rogue stuff. I figure if you care about rogue, you can look through that. Sorry, Penny. Sork, yeah, same thing. We don't care about Sork, right? Let's see, gameplay, end game activities. It's not very good. Back down to a 6 out of 10. Yeah. Players can more consistently acquire Distilled Fear. We've reworked how Distilled Fear is collected from Nightmare Dungeons. Players will always gain a Distilled Fear after completing a Nightmare Dungeon of at least tier 30. Every 10 tiers after tier 30, there is an increasing chance for additional Distilled Fears. Completing tier 90 Nightmare Dungeon will always grant 3. Okay. The Purified Sigil reward for completing a Nightmare Dungeon will now always grant a sigil 1 tier greater than the Nightmare Dungeon just completed. Well, that's cool, because they just make it so you can actually, like, push higher and higher. Okay. Scrolls of Escape, don't care. The chance for Scattered Prisms to drop has been increased, or has been reduced. Huh. Scatter Prisms can now be acquired from Legion events. The material cap has been increased from 5 nines to 6 nines. Got it. Treasure goblins spawned while fighting Avarice now have the same loot potential as normally encountered treasure goblins. It won't matter because you never see them. The only time you see them is when you stagger the boss, and the boss is dead within like 5 seconds. So it doesn't matter. Unless you're going to make it so they just spawn from him the whole encounter. World Tier 3 and 4 World Boss weekly caches can now drop unique items. That's cool. The increased cap for item power on drops from World Bosses has been adjusted. Previous plus 100 to min, plus 100 to max. New plus 65 to min, plus 25 to max. Developers' notes. World Bosses are intended to reward powerful loot for your level. With this change at a high level, players will see maximum item power gear from World Bosses. I mean, that's good. Because you had people that, like, they would set 1 foot into World Tier 4, get a World Boss kill, get a 925 weapon, and then they were just like, you know, they were set for the entire game. So at least make people, like, kind of, like, earn the loot a little bit. The item power ranges for items drop by have been changed. Varshan in World Tier 3. Okay. I see. So the rares aren't going to roll up to 925 from Grigori anymore, but the uniques still can. Beast in the Ice can get 925 everything. Duriel remains unchanged, always drops 925. Okay. Oh, and this is like Nightmare Dungeon item power scaling has been adjusted to more consistently drop high item power loot in high tier Nightmare Dungeons. Examples. Okay, whatever. All monsters above level 144, which is a Nightmare Dungeon tier 90 and higher, now are guaranteed to drop 925 item power gear. Thank you. Now there's a point to doing 90 and higher Nightmare Dungeons. So now when you run a 90 and higher, you'll always get 925 gear from everything. That's cool. I doubt I'm probably going to see that on my minion Necro, but, you know, it is what it is. Let's see, what else we got? Uber unique items can now be unlocked as transmogs. Cool. WASD, bonuses from keywords. Okay. Event timers are now displayed on the world map. That's cool. Uh, duh, 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 duh. Additional stash tab is now available to be purchased in-game with gold. Maximum stash tabs available are now 6. The icons for the Helltide Chest of Mysteries and Living Steel Chest have been updated to make them more visually distinctive from the other chest icons. That's good. We have introduced a new way for players to approach reworking their skill tree. Players can now refund whole paths or skill clumps whilst seeing a preview of it all. Players can also see how much or how many skill points will be refunded to them and how much gold it will cost in advance. Okay. So now what they need to do is apply this same technology to the Paragon boards, and we're good. Where you just right-click on the attaching node thing and just, like, respec just the board at a time instead of, like, the entire thing. Max line, okay, this looks like it's bug fixes, right? Fix an issue where Bonebreaker didn't have a buff indicator. Fix an issue where the guaranteed overpower from the Earth Striker with basic attacks. Okay. Fix an issue where the bonus from the Ringster Strategy when the aspect of Gore Quills was activated. Yeah, so the buff to Ring of Starless Skies is actually going to be pretty fucking huge for Bone Spear Necro. Because now, like, it's not going to get the resource cost reduction buff isn't going to get reset when you're like when you cast corpse tendrils or like the auto casting stuff. So you'll just always get like a 40% resource cost reduction, and you'll get like 40% more damage too. Bone sphere? You mean bone spirit? It's not great, Trevor's. They buffed golems, and they made it so the cult leader legendary Paragon node now gives your minions more damage based on their overall attack speed bonus. Fix an issue where Shadow and Bone Mages do not cast Blizzard when the Coldbringer aspect was equipped. Fix an issue where Blood Mist could fail to activate while under the effect of a Bandit Smoke Bomb. Fix an issue where the Splintering aspect would scale more than 2 times. But, Trevor's, now we can equip an aspect that turns Bone Spirit into like an AoE Bone Splinter Bomb. So maybe we can do a Bone Minion build. They also made it, there's an aspect where they reworked one of the aspects that it turns Iron Maiden into a shadow skill that also does shadow damage. So it is kind of a scenario where you could probably do a shadow minion build with Shadow Iron Maiden. Because some minion builds were already running Iron Maiden. And they made it so all the golems cleave on their basic attack now. And they improved the AI of the golem to where when you send him in to do like his like activated attack, after he's done it, he'll attempt to melee stuff that's in range of him instead of going back to what he was attacking before you commanded him. Which is kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, takeaways are looks like Barb is going to be fucking crazy again. I mean, Barb got some pretty good stuff. It looks like. Looks like they're trying to make Upheaval even more viable. There's like a new Rend unique. They're trying to move away from like the triple shout meta, making it more appealing to run stuff other than triple shouts. And then for Necro, they buffed all the stuff that they didn't really need to. The idea of the Bone Spirit thing is pretty cool. I might fuck around with that. The AoE Bone Spirit thing. That could be cool. But, I mean, like I said, I'm probably just going to go lazy ass minions and just try to enjoy the time I have playing the game. And just go minimal effort with my new little spider bro pet. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So, still not super hype about the season, but we are going to play it anyway, and we'll just see what happens. Any synergy for Whirlwind this season? No. Like, well, where's it at? There was I mean, technically, there's this where like you can just Whirlwind stuff and it'll mark the enemies, and then if you use a basic skill on one of the marked enemies, the basic skill echoes to all of them, dealing a bunch of damage. So, I mean, I guess potentially you could Whirlwind through a bunch of AoE. Like, you could AoE with Whirlwind and then basic skill on one and just, like, try to, like, do damage. But not really. The Ring of Starless Skies would actually be good for Whirlwind if every second you channeled Whirlwind, it actually counted for this stacking buff. I mean, I guess you could, like, channel it for a second, channel it for a second, channel it for a second, whatever, till you get to the max bonus. Maybe. No, it's not Whirlwind doing the damage. I mean, potentially you could do like a berserking whirlwind build since they buffed the berserking key passive. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just gonna go necro minions, AFK lazy town. You know, that's my plan for the season. We'll just see how far I get. Yep.